Hi everyone, this is Nurse Anna from nursestudy.net. Let's talk about pleural effusions. Now this is one of those topics that shows up on the NCLEX and on the floor all the time. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what a pleural effusion is, what causes it, how your patient will look, and most importantly, what you do as the nurse. Let's jump in. What is a pleural effusion? So first, what actually is it? A pleural effusion is simply a buildup of fluid in the pleural cavity. That's the thin space between the lung and the chest wall. Normally there's just a tiny bit of lubricating fluid in there so the lung can slide smoothly when you breathe. But in an effusion, too much fluid collects and it starts to squeeze the lung so it can't expand. Now here's your first big fork in the road. Effusions come in two flavors. Exudative, which is high in protein, above 3 grams per deciliter, and transudative, which is low in protein. Don't worry, I'm going to make those two words really easy to remember on the next slide. A simple memory trick. Okay, here's the trick that makes this stick. Look at the prefixes. X, like exit. Exudative fluid is exiting the tissues. Something is inflaming the area, and that inflammation makes protein leak out into the pleural space. High protein equals exudate. Like transfer moving across, transudative fluid is watery fluid being pushed across the membrane because of a pressure problem. Low protein equals transudate. So EX is exiting, trans is transferring across. Say it out loud once, it'll save you on test day. Exudative causes. Let's fill in the causes. For exudative effusions, I want you to think inflammation and infection. The classic culprits are pneumonia or a lung infection, lung cancer, tuberculosis, and rheumatoid arthritis. Notice the theme. Every one of those irritates or inflames the pleura, and that's what makes the protein leak out. Quick NCLEX Pearl. Exudate means high protein and high LDH. Inflammation is the common thread. Transudative causes. Now, transudative, I remember, this is a pressure or plumbing problem, not an infection. The number one cause is congestive heart failure, where backed up pressure literally pushes fluid into the pleural space. You'll also see it with hypoalbuminemia. Low albumin means the blood can't hold on to its fluid, as well as hypothyroidism and Meigs syndrome, which is that triad of an ovarian tumor, ascites, and a right-sided effusion. Pearl here. Transudate is low protein and low LDH, no infection. It's a fluid balance issue. How does the patient present? So how does your patient actually look? Remember, that fluid is taking up space, so the lung can't fully inflate. Your hallmark symptom is shortness of breath. When you percuss over the effusion, you'll hear dullness because you're tapping over fluid, not air. When you listen with your stethoscope, you'll hear reduced or absent breath sounds because air isn't moving into that area. And with a really big, massive effusion, the fluid can push everything over, so you might see tracheal deviation, where the trachea shifts away from the fluid. That last one is a red flag. Diagnostic workup. How do we confirm it? Our first line test is a chest x-ray. The classic finding is blunting of the costophrenic angle. That sharp little corner between the diaphragm and the chest wall goes blunt and fuzzy. You may also see a meniscus sign, which is a curved fluid line, and with large effusions, that tracheal or mediastinal shift. Once we see fluid, the next step is to sample it. We aspirate some fluid and send it to the lab. We're checking protein and LDH to sort exudate from transudate, cell count for infection or cancer, pH, glucose, and microbiology to look for bugs. Hold on to pH and glucose. They come back on slide 9. Management options. Now let's talk treatment, and it all depends on the size and the cause. For a small effusion, we may just manage it conservatively, treat the underlying cause, like the pneumonia or the heart failure, and the effusion can resolve on its own. For bigger ones, we do a pleural aspiration, also called a thoracentesis. A needle drains the fluid and relieves the pressure fast. The catch is it's temporary. The fluid can come back. So if it keeps reaccumulating, we place a chest drain, a tube that keeps draining fluid as it forms and helps prevent it from coming back. Empyema, infected effusion. Okay, this is the slide you do not want to miss. An empyema is an infected pleural effusion, basically pus in the pleural space. When should you suspect it? Picture a patient with pneumonia who's supposedly improving, but they've got a new or ongoing fever. That's your clue. When you aspirate an empyema, you'll actually get pus. Here are the 3 numbers to memorize. The pH is low, under 7.2, because the fluid turns acidic. The glucose is low because the bacteria are eating it up. And the LDH is high. Low pH, low glucose, high LDH. Treatment is a chest drain to get the pus out plus antibiotics. Nursing assessment. All right, let's put on our nurse hats. For your assessment, start with airway and breathing. Monitor respiratory status, rate effort, oxygen saturation, and workup breathing. Auscultate the lungs and note those diminished or absent breath sounds over the effusion. Percuss for dullness and check whether the chest is expanding evenly. And always watch for tracheal deviation or worsening distress. That's your emergency red flag. Then assess symptoms and data, ask about dyspnea, orthopnea, and how much activity they can tolerate. Trend their vital signs and temperature. Remember, a new fever might mean empyema. Note any cough, pleuritic chest pain, or fatigue, and review their labs and imaging so you can anticipate a thoracentesis. Nursing interventions. Now, what do we actually do? First and most important, position for breathing. Sit your patient upright in high Fowlers to help the lung expand and ease that shortness of breath. Support their oxygenation. Give oxygen as ordered, watch the oxygen saturation, and encourage rest with paced activity. If they're going for a thoracentesis, you'll help position them, usually upright, leaning forward on a bedside table. Coach them to stay still, and monitor them before, during, and after. If they have a chest drain, keep the drainage system below chest level. Watch for titling, check the insertion site, and measure the output. Don't forget comfort and education. Treat their pain, teach deep breathing, and explain what's happening to calm their anxiety. And after the tap, watch closely for a complication called pneumothorax, sudden new shortness of breath, chest pain, or a dropping oxygen level. Exudate versus Transudate at a glance. Let's put it all side by side so it clicks. Exudate, high protein, high LDH, caused by inflammation or infection. Think pneumonia, cancer, TB, and the fluid tends to look cloudy or bloody. Transudate, low protein, low LDH, caused by a pressure or fluid shift problem. Think heart failure or low albumin. And the fluid looks clear and watery. In real life, providers use something called Light's criteria to officially separate the two by comparing the protein and LDH in the fluid versus the blood. You don't have to memorize the formula, just know that's the tool that draws the line. NCLEX Pearls. Let's lock in the high yield points before test day. Number 1, position first. Any patient who's short of breath, sit them upright before you do anything else. Number 2, dull equals fluid. Dullness to percussion plus decreased breath sounds is your classic effusion combo. Number 3, the trachea points away from a large effusion. Number 4, empyema numbers. pH under 7.2, low glucose, high LDH, treated with a drain and antibiotics. Number 5, exudate equals inflammation. So high protein and LDH point to infection or cancer, not a pressure problem. And number 6, after the tap, watch for pneumothorax. Key takeaways. Let's wrap it up. A pleural effusion is fluid in the space between the lung and the chest wall. Exudate is high protein from inflammation. Transudate is low protein from a pressure or fluid shift. Your classic signs are dyspnea, dullness to percussion, and decreased breath sounds. We diagnose it with a chest x-ray showing that blunted costophrenic angle, then we sample the fluid. We manage it by treating the cause plus aspiration or a chest drain. An empyema is infected fluid pH under 7.2, low glucose, high LDH, treated with a drain and antibiotics. Okay guys, that's Pleural Effusions. If this helped, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. You've got this. This is Nurse Anna from nursestudy.net.